What a fun time to be in crypto. We've waited years for this. We're going to enjoy every minute of it. What's going on with Bitcoin? That's what I'm going to tell you tonight. I am the Gaussian Snake. This is crypto simulation theory, and this is not financial advice. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin chart. So we can see that Bitcoin broke the 1.272 fib. We talked about this happening. Now, we suspected there could have been a drop to this red zone. That did not happen. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but it didn't happen. So we have to go with the data, and the data says Bitcoin has broken the 1.272 fib. So what I want to look at is the strength of this parabolic trend that we're entering into, and if this flagging pattern is likely to take us to the 1.414. I did say on my channel publicly that I thought that was a possibility that we'd end up between these two fibs by the end of the year, and that seems to be happening. So never don't underestimate this long consolidation range and the power that breaking it has. So let's go ahead and look at the weekly time frame and throw on an SAR. Wow, look at that. That's a beautiful, beautiful leg to our bull market. So if we throw on a parabolic SAR, we got to find it on here. Right there. Look at that. The dots are getting spaced a little further apart. There's a dot right here that it's directly on the fib. This is exactly what we want to see. It's hard to tell if this is inflecting yet, but it definitely seems like it has more room to run. So are we going to go straight to the 1.414? Well, we'll have to look at a lot more indicators to tell that. Let's throw up some moving averages next and see what that looks like. We spoke about a golden cross of the 50-week HMA, which is in blue, with the 100-week HMA, which is in white. It just happened. We just got a golden cross. This is extremely bullish. Every time this has happened and these things have lined up, it's off the parabolic season. So yes, I think that, we do have to overcome the 10-week HMA. Right now, we are below it, but we are maintaining strength above the 20 weeks. So this is a crucial compression zone right in here. I'm going to pull up the weighted logarithmic Bollinger Bands next to see just how compressed we are. I imagine we're kind of riding the Bollinger Bands on the weekly. I'm not really sure. I've been looking on the daily a lot lately in my analyses. So we do have an obstacle on the 10-week, but that can easily be overcome. So we'll have to see kind of what happens from here. There definitely seems to be some selling happening on the weekly, but this is still really good that we got that we're at least above the 1.272 fib. Bollinger Band on the weekly looks excellent. You can see that we rode the Bollinger Band top. Usually you move away from it when you do that. We did that earlier in 2023 in October, and then you kind of ride away from it, ride back up to it. And, it starts to price starts to go towards the median line, and we rode back up to it again into March. So these moves can last for a while. So I don't think this is it for our parabolic move. We could go higher, could hit 128K. In fact, we could even go up to the 1.618, and we do need to watch out for that. If we go up to the 1.618, that is going to definitely trigger some alerts in my mind. And the reason for that is risk. So if I put on the risk indicator to see where we're at in terms of risk right now, I'll turn off the Bollinger Band. We are currently at Bitcoin risk level of 67.51. So things are getting a little bit hot. Personally, I would like to see Bitcoin chill out at the 1.414. But if that doesn't happen and it just keeps going, I think we have ourselves a major cycle top. Okay. And I have speculated that could happen in quarter one or quarter two of next year. It is something we have to watch out for. I really want to see Bitcoin chill out at the 1.414 and get boring. I actually don't want to see Bitcoin rocket to 128K by the end of the year without facing some kind of trouble here. I am concerned about getting up to 173K because look, that brings us into the red zone. Whenever that has happened, sorry, I can probably delete this. Actually, I don't really need this anymore. It is still possible that Bitcoin goes to it, but I'll put it back in. Whatever. Let's just go ahead and make it easy. And I'm not gonna waste your time with this. Okay. Anyways, we go back here. See what happens when you get up into this red zone, like we did in 2021. We had to have a significant cool off before we came back up to it again, but we didn't get as high on risk. So every time we come up to this red zone on the risk, it has not been a good thing for the cycle. So it can happen. It can happen very quickly, and we should not assume that it can't happen. So Again, my preference is that it doesn't happen right now and that we just chill out around here. Okay. We chill out maybe even at the upper boundary of this risk level, around risk level of 80, which is currently at 131.5K. That's really what I would prefer to keep this, a fairly healthy bull run and not get too overheated. Weekly stochastic oscillator is getting pretty maxed out. Okay. It's been up at these high levels for quite a while. It's almost as high as it's ever been. So I definitely think, the odds of just blasting right through to 1.414 are not great. Looking at the stochastic oscillator, I think some cooling off and consolidation at maybe even near these levels that we're currently at could be healthy. Just cool this off a little bit. I can definitely see us staying at some pretty high levels and getting some bounces. Like this is actually gives me some confidence that maybe we can kind of stop out somewhere in here between the 1.272 and 1.414. That would be perfect. That would be exactly what we want to have heading into early 2025. Have that happen, and this can allow our cycle to go on for a lot longer than if we just blast straight off, which doesn't look likely if you look at the stochastic oscillator on the weekly. The average sentiment oscillator is extremely high right now. It's at levels where it kind of cooled off a little bit last time. Usually when you get to the 80 level, you get a nice cool off. So that is definitely a good news for the longevity of this bull cycle, right? We don't want to see the average sentiment oscillator just go up even higher. It usually doesn't. So this is like, I'll show you, for example, this is typically a pullback point where we're at right now. So that's why I actually, you know what, I'll leave that red zone in there between 84.5K and 88.8K because it could still be hit. Could very much still be hit on a pullback. We haven't had a really substantial pullback yet. So it could happen, right? Look at how rarely we've hit this level on the ASO. 2021, we actually went above it, but not much above it. In 2019, we went above it. But notice, what do you notice about these levels? There's always like a little bit of a pullback. So we could go a little bit higher, but not much higher before historically we've seen pullbacks. Okay. Not much higher. Unless you go back to like 2013, then yeah, I mean, this was like April 2013. Things went absolutely crazy. And we went all the way up to an ASO level of 90, which I think is probably close to that's the highest it's ever gone. So are we going to go higher than where we currently are? We could. It is possible. This is a pretty strong formation, but I think we're going to top out somewhere between the 1.272 and 1.414 sometime relatively soon, maybe by January. I can't tell you exactly when, but having some cool off there. And then I think that's what's going to usher in the massive altcoin season that we've all been waiting for. It's coming, and I can see how it would evolve with the green ASO sort of like cooling off. We've spoken about the wave trend oscillator printing a red dot fairly soon. You can see it is concave down. It looks like it's flattening out. So again, I don't think Bitcoin has much higher to go right now before we get a significant cool down event. It could take us into this red zone, could even take us lower, but I'm eyeing, it's hard to say exactly where the consolidation would take place, if it takes place. But are we likely to turn up from here? I think not right away. I think we are going to cool down a little bit. That's what this is telling me. It's what a lot of my metrics are telling me. So that's just kind of what I'm going to go with. I think Bitcoin's bullishness is still intact, like on the macro scale. But what I am seeing is just a period of a little bit of a cool down before maybe the next leg up to the 1.414. I don't see that happening right now that we're going to go up here. So it just doesn't seem like we have the juice for it. We could have the juice for it. I'm not saying we don't, but just from the metrics I've looked at, I don't think we hit the 1.414 just yet at 128,000. I think we have a little bit further to go. Let's do a check-in with Bitcoin dominance and see what's going on there. Okay. So Bitcoin dominance had a bounce at its 0.5 fib. It didn't quite get to it, but it got close enough, which is 54% dominance. And it seems to be getting rejected at a 618. This is exactly what we expected to happen. We talked about it on this channel, and it's happening. So I think we get the dead cat bounce into the early bear market for Bitcoin dominance. So if you've been frustrated with your altcoins and they haven't been doing much, I don't think you have to be frustrated much longer. I think 2025 is going to bring some really amazing times for altcoins, as we should see Bitcoin dominance roll back over to the 0.5. And on that rollover, I think we're going to see a really nice altcoin season. It's not currently altcoin season, but I think that's where we'd be likely to see it. 96.3% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut. the December FOMC meeting coming up tomorrow on Wednesday. And then if you look at the probabilities, we see a really nice progression where we have some rate cut freezes that are sort of baked in. The market does seem a little bit uncertain about those because we, of course, would need to see economic data coming in during that time. We could see a slowdown in the markets, but overall, this is actually painting a pretty bullish picture heading into 2025 for really mostly the entirety of 2025. So no reason to feel bearish when you see this, but of course, we have to look at data that comes in and just react to it as it shows up. So overall, I'm feeling very bullish about Bitcoin, looking for a consolidation somewhere between where we are now and the 1.414 fib at around 128K. The consolidation appears that it's probably going to come sooner than us actually getting to 128K. I mean, I can't say whether we will or won't get to it, but I think we're in that area where we can expect a longer term consolidation from Bitcoin price that allows for an altcoin season, a massive one, to really start running. And I think in my next video, we'll take a look at altcoin season and just kind of do another update on that. So hopefully you enjoyed the content. This is the Gaussian Snake. This is Crypto Simulation Theory. Please like, subscribe my channel if you enjoy this content, and join my Telegram group. We drop new altcoins projects in there all the time. We've had projects with like really low market caps, even one as low as like $15,000 that has run up like crazy. So if you don't want to miss things like that, like I won't talk about those things on my YouTube channel, but people do talk about them in my Telegram group. So I'd suggest joining if you can. It's the best alpha anywhere in the crypto space, and it's absolutely free. So see you there.